friends, this is Jazz bringing you the promised review of Vamp the Lost Soul Volume 2. Now, I was waiting for this for quite a while. Ever since reading the first one, it just pulled me in. I felt that I related to it a lot. Now, this review, I'm doing the best I can with it, but I am not going to go and spoil the whole book for you because you guys want to buy it yourself. Trust me. We'll just say this start off where they left off with Nika being confronted by Jiminko. Some of the names are hard to pronounce, so I apologize to you guys. I'm not good with my pronunciation. But it ends just as quickly. Okay, I'm trying to think of how to do it. I'm not always the most professional. Some things will be spoiled for you guys, but I will try to keep it as spoiler-free as possible, because I'm not going into a deep review like, for example, Manga Etc does with each chapter. I'm going what I feel about the whole novel, or graphic novel and all, and not, like, tell you the whole story, because that way you'd know it. But anyway, we'll just say that Jiminko was not the real Jiminko, so things are warped from there because Nika went into, we'll say, his evil mode. I'll get into that a little bit later. I'm not using the term right now until a little bit later. And he is scalded by James, I believe is his name. I forget, some of the characters' names I forget, like, I don't remember very much. But after that all happens, Nika sticks to his strict training and tries to take things more seriously. And all in all, Ranfang meets with a couple of the new characters, I believe. Like, I'm trying to think, yeah. Alright. Lance Lancelot, and Rim Woodley. They meet up with them and decide, let's have fun and go to the festival or the games that are going on down there. So, them and their other friend Inkra, which was what Nika was battling way back when I was talking about it, go to the games like with everyone, and they get matched into teams of 3, which is, what is it? It's Ranfang, Ninka, and Inka against the new bounty hunters, which one of the main one is Gabriel, who used to be friends with both Ranfang and Inkra. Things go batshit crazy when they go to capture Nika to bring him, to the main one who's in charge, and I don't know whether that is Jiminko or not. It's just someone else that I don't recognize. So it isn't Jiminko, but there's a bounty on Ninka's head. And during all this, Ninka goes into that evil crazy mode again, and literally goes crazy. But in the process, Inkra is kidnapped. We later learn that this is because Nika has a personality disorder or a mental illness, and what he goes into is like a puppet mode, where his other side is so crazy he doesn't care who he kills. And I just love how James went into this. Like, I love how he is diving into mental illness and disabilities like this. One of the characters is like Inkra, for example, is based on not having a gender, like an unknown gender, which is a good topic to bring up. Lance is blind, but he does well with what his job is. And the fact that he made Nika have a personality disorder, along with being dyslexic. I just love like how they're diving into that, and how, especially how they compare it with being another species and having a mental illness. That is a great way to carve things, personally. Now, the team tries to make a plan to get Umbre back, and so they're split up into groups. James is with, and I don't mean this James, I think I am gonna have this book here with me. I am really gonna have to go back to what I'm going for, because that's the one name I forget. Okay. I think it is, yeah, James. Okay. But anyway, you guys do know what I mean. They go into groups made by this new character, Billie Jean. Interesting character. Entertaining, we'll just say the least. And we also learn a little bit more about the character of Kaz. Like, in many scenes, one where she talks a bit about her friendship with Ranfang, and then when she gets into a battle with, what is the guy? It's when they split up and he's a cyborg himself. So, that's what I know, and she talks about how she uses machine to advance herself, like just to help it not to become the machine. I forget who the villain she was battling was, but I know he was a cyborg. Anyway, we learn a little bit about her being a mutant, her being able to do all these amazing things, and there's more character involved in her. We also learn that there are new characters, including with Jess's father's Professor Einstein, which I laughed when I read that name. I'm sorry, but it's good. It's clever. That's the thing. It's really clever. And then there's Image G or MA, there's Rim, and then there's Lance, like who I mentioned before. And, okay, I was right about the name. It was James. I had to check there. But they're all put into groups, and Ranfang is battling against Gabriel, I believe, the guy who betrayed them all, and they're going, who's faster, who's better, and that is clever. And Ranfang goes into his ultimate form in a way where he can outspeed everyone. And I'm gonna say, it's clever, but it's also creepy. Like, he literally looks like a robot. Like, I was thinking, is everyone here made of machines? Like, I mean, that's just the thing, because the face of Ranfang looked like a robot, is all I'm saying. But it's still very clever and a great idea. Now, I'm trying to think of what else to say without really spoiling it. One big thing that I love. We finally, I can't say here because we don't hear anything. It's a book, not an audio book. But we finally see Jasper talk. I mean, Jess's father. The whole time in Volume 1, and for most of Volume 2, we see him slowly, or quietly, following behind, nodding, doing things. Like, he'd be in action, he'd fight, but we wouldn't really know if he could even talk. But there was one point where Hex Axe, which is like a Scottish mummy mutant, it's interesting, where he grabs Jess, and I'm sorry to spoil you guys when I'm saying this, but he's like, you let go of my little girl, Axe. What do you think you're doing? And I'm like, and Hex even mentioned that in his creepy voice, so I guess maybe that's why he doesn't talk too much, because when he does, he gives everyone the creeps. gotta say, very reserved till he had to. I mean, till he had to be. Which reminds me of something else. You know what? I'm gonna give him the credit there. Yeah, don't think of Twilight. Yeah, I mean, maybe not the creepy voice of it, but the reservedness, the fact that he's a vampire and a psychic, but, like, yeah, I still love that character nonetheless. It's genius. And we didn't see very much of Nika or James near the end, but it showed almost all the other teams going up and fighting different, like, hunters or enemies, and we learned some about some of the enemies. Like, I forget the name, but I know that this character adopted a troll son, and the other one has like eggs that are his species, and he's fighting for them. But back to the name. What is the name? Okay. Gene Tinker is the first one. And Nogard? Okay, Gene Tinker and Nogard. They're funny characters, like, interesting, like, they have something to fight for, which makes me feel a little bad for them, but at the same time, obviously, I want the heroes to win. He knows how to put James, and I mean the author James, not the character. He knows how to put character into his characters. A funny way for me to say it. You can relate to them a lot, because not only does it bring up sides that can happen in reality, and I don't mean the turning into a werewolf, going psycho and killing everyone scenario. I mean just the fact of the talk of mental illness. How in real life that can affect people greatly. But the action is awesome too. I mean, this one went, like, the last one was obviously more story build up, because it's the first volume, that's what it's supposed to do. And yes, it introduced some new characters in this, but it went right to the point, which is one thing that some, like, things lack. And, like, some, like, books or manga go, new character, new character, new character, new character. Okay, wait, who's who? And yes, my memory is always good, but that's my memory. You're talking about someone who has the attention span of maybe a 10-year-old. Okay, maybe a little older than that, but for me to remember so many characters even without looking is good. And I love that he only puts enough characters and he reminds you of others, and therefore you'll remember. And I love how he gives backstories on some of these characters. He has it all together. I honestly think, I'm not going into any details unless he published it to everyone, but from what James has told me about himself, it is amazing how far he's come with this. He has talent of many kinds. His animation, animation, I apologize, his drawing, or whatever, is on par. His story making ability is, as again, way, like, I could not sit down and go and write a basic story. Like, okay, I went to a certain school, whatever. Yet he made this whole universe with vampires, werewolves, cyborgs, mutants, the rules of their own. For someone like me, that would be difficult to do. Yet he pretty much perfected it. And, like, he also got the Japanese style on par too, which I don't know where he lives, but I definitely know he was not Asian. So I've seen him before, and so he perfected that dialogue to their respective format. Like, there's so much good I could say about this. And I really also don't see any negative to say. Like, the only thing I ever brought up at all was that Jasper character, but that's just me. I have a very narrow mind and like things. And if I know something that's relatable, I often bring it up, but that is not a problem. It's just the fact that the character seems so much like the character from Twilight to me. Not that it was his intention. That's just me, and that makes me like the character more, which is like a plus. But either way, I can relate to almost all these characters aside from the villains, obviously. I have family with a lot of these disabilities or mental illnesses, and he represented them well. He didn't just put, oh, this person might be doing this, oh, they have this disorder, and they might be doing this. He wasn't going on as if, like, he didn't know. Some people will just go and pick up stories and use the name of a disability in the story and have no idea how it affects people. For example, when he was talking about Ninka having a second personality, he dove into it well. He didn't go misguided. He knew what he was talking about. And I'm not saying that in a bad way. There's so many people out there who really misrepresent us. And no, I don't have double personality. I'm saying mental illness and all, in general. They misrepresent us. They go on as if we're in the same box and not different, that we can't have our own unique abilities. In this series, so far, I've seen many mental illnesses represented, but not at all in a negative light. It showed that the person also had a personality. And they weren't just a mental illness. And I gotta thank James for that. But that is something that is hard to represent properly, but he did it well. On top of adding all that action, the storytelling, the amazing animation. Okay, I know it's a manga, but animation is pretty much the key, the word I use. So you guys know what I mean. And as I said, he's told me things I'm not sharing in this unless he ever wanted me to. But for all those difficulties, managed with this. And I got to applaud him. I would really recommend this book. So whenever it comes out and you can order it, please do. I will put his YouTube channel there because I cannot, for the life of me, find a way to put his Facebook page there. I wish I could because it is so well put together. I never seen a website of his yet, so I can't share that either. But I'll ask him because I want you guys to see this book, to see how well it's put together. You see, literally, I know I might sound like I'm sugarcoating things, but I'm not. It is truly a masterpiece. He's done this all on his own. He's worked hard on it. Many people will start working hard on something, but then use computer completely and not like it. I'm trying to think of how to explain it. They literally just half-ass it. I'm not saying this for all anime manga creators, but there are some people who are like, oh, whatever, I did it before. Let's not pay any effort into it. No, he does. I can tell. He loves what he does, which is another big thing I love about this series and him as a person. If I had, I'm not terrible, I'm doing better, but if I had as much passion as he did, what I did, I'd be like on top of the world. So guys, check out this book, or manga. I call it a book again, I apologize, but it's similar, just more graphics. I don't know when the release date is for you guys, so whenever it does come out, please think of picking it up. It's worth your time, trust me. It may not be for everyone. Everyone has their own opinion, but for me, I think this manga is something that anyone, even new manga readers, can enjoy. So please pick it up when you can. Thank you so much, James, for giving me this opportunity to review this. I appreciate it every day that you trust me that much to give me the honor of advertisement, but reviewing it for you. I will see you guys in the next video.